Have you ever stopped to wonder if some of the foods you've loved for years, the ones that bring a comforting smile to your face, might actually be doing your brain a silent disservice? It's a painful reality for many of us as we get older. We focus on keeping our bodies strong, our hearts healthy, and our joints flexible. But sometimes we forget about the most incredible organ of all, our brain. It's working tirelessly behind the scenes, managing our memories, our thoughts, our very essence. And just like any other part of us, it needs the right nourishment to thrive, especially after 60. The truth is, some seemingly innocent, even delicious, items we often reach for can quietly, subtly, chip away at our cognitive health, making us more susceptible to forgetfulness, slower thinking, or even more serious issues down the line. It's not about grand sweeping changes overnight, but about understanding what's truly on our plate. In this video, we're going to uncover 6 common foods that, while tasty, might be silently hindering your brain's performance and clarity. We'll explore why they're problematic and, more importantly, what wonderful alternatives you can embrace instead to keep your mind sharp and vibrant for years to come. Watch to the end for something that will truly surprise you. Let's dive right into our first category of foods that can quietly chip away at your brain health: highly processed foods. Think about it. Those convenient ready meals, the colorful boxes of breakfast cereals, the endless aisle of packaged snacks like chips, crackers, and cookies, even some frozen pizzas. These are the foods that have been significantly altered from their natural state, often stripped of their vital nutrients and pumped full of unhealthy fats, added sugars, excessive sodium, and artificial ingredients. When you choose these items, you're not just getting a quick meal, you're introducing a cocktail of substances that can wreak havoc on your brain. Here's how they do it. Many processed foods are packed with trans fats, which we'll talk more about later, but also with refined vegetable oils like soybean, corn, and sunflower oil, which are high in omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 is essential, an imbalance with too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3, the good fats found in fish or flaxseed, promotes inflammation throughout your body, including your brain. Chronic inflammation is like a slow burn that damages brain cells and pathways, making it harder for your brain to function optimally. It's been linked to an increased risk of cognitive decline and even neurodegenerative diseases. Beyond the unhealthy fats, these foods are often loaded with added sugars, leading to rapid spikes and crashes in blood sugar levels. Imagine your brain trying to run efficiently on this roller coaster of energy. It's exhausting and damaging. These sugar surges can also contribute to insulin resistance, a condition where your cells stop responding properly to insulin, making it harder for glucose to enter them. Your brain heavily relies on glucose for energy, and when it can't get it efficiently, its performance suffers. This can manifest as brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and memory issues. Think about how sluggish and unfocused you feel after a sugary snack. That's your brain signaling distress. And let's not forget the hidden sodium and artificial additives. Excessive sodium can contribute to high blood pressure, which narrows and hardens the arteries, reducing blood flow to the brain. Less blood flow means less oxygen and fewer nutrients reaching your brain cells, impairing their function. Artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives, while regulated, are still foreign substances to your body, and some research suggests they can have negative impacts on brain function, mood, and even behavior, particularly in sensitive individuals. So, what can you do? The good news is that replacing these highly processed items is simpler than you might think, and it doesn't mean giving up deliciousness. Instead of reaching for a packaged cookie, try a piece of fruit like an apple or a handful of berries, instead of a frozen dinner. Opt for a simple meal prepared at home with fresh ingredients: a baked chicken breast with roasted vegetables, or a hearty lentil soup. When you cook for yourself, you have complete control over what goes into your food. ensuring it's packed with brain-boosting nutrients instead of brain-damaging chemicals. Look for whole, unprocessed foods like fresh fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. Even small steps, like swapping out one processed snack a day for a piece of fruit, can make a significant difference over time in nourishing your incredible brain. Now, let's talk about another seemingly harmless, often refreshing, category that can silently harm your brain: sugary drinks. We're not just talking about sodas here, but also many fruit juices that are labeled as natural, but often contain as much, if not more, added sugar than a soft drink. Even sweetened teas, energy drinks, and flavored coffees can fall into this category. The primary culprit here is the sheer volume of added sugars, particularly high fructose corn syrup, that these beverages deliver directly and rapidly to your system. When you drink a sugary beverage, that sugar hits your bloodstream almost instantly. This causes a dramatic spike in your blood glucose levels, while your body tries to manage this with a surge of insulin. Repeated and frequent sugar spikes and subsequent crashes are incredibly taxing on your brain. High blood sugar can lead to something called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins and fats, forming harmful compounds that damage cells and contribute to inflammation. In the brain, this damage can impair nerve cell function and communication, leading to reduced cognitive flexibility and memory problems. Furthermore, studies have shown a strong link between high consumption of sugary drinks and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. And guess what? Type 2 diabetes is a significant risk factor for cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. The chronic inflammation and insulin resistance associated with diabetes directly impact brain health, making it harder for brain cells to get the energy they need and communicate effectively. It's like trying to run a complex computer program on a power grid that keeps flickering on and off. Think about the long-term effects. Regularly consuming these sugary concoctions can literally shrink your brain over time. Research has found that people who frequently drink sugary beverages have smaller brain volumes, particularly in the hippocampus, which is the brain region crucial for learning and memory. This is a truly sobering thought. It's not just about a momentary sugar rush. It's about persistent, subtle damage accumulating year after year. So, what's the delicious and brain-friendly alternative? Water, of course, is your best friend. It's vital for every bodily function, including brain hydration and clarity. If plain water feels a bit too boring, try infusing it with slices of fresh fruit like lemon, lime, cucumber, or berries. You can also brew your own unsweetened iced tea, or enjoy a cup of hot herbal tea. For something a bit different, consider sparkling water with a splash of fruit juice, the real kind, freshly squeezed, or a few berries. Making these simple switches can dramatically reduce your sugar intake and give your brain a much-needed break from the constant sugar assault, allowing it to function more clearly and efficiently. Remember, every sip counts towards a sharper mind. Now that we've talked about the pitfalls of highly processed foods and sugary drinks, let's turn our attention to another common part of many diets that can quietly undermine brain health: refined grains. We're talking about things like white bread, white pasta, white rice, many breakfast cereals, and pastries. These grains have been processed to remove the bran and germ, which are the parts that contain most of the fiber, B vitamins, and healthy fats. What's left is mainly the starchy endosperm, which is essentially pure carbohydrate that rapidly converts to sugar in your body. The problem here is similar to that of sugary drinks: a rapid spike in blood sugar. When you eat refined grains, they're quickly digested and absorbed, causing a sudden surge in your glucose levels. Your body rushes to produce insulin to bring these levels down. This constant roller coaster of high blood sugar and insulin spikes is not good for your brain. Over time, it can lead to insulin resistance, making your brain cells less responsive to insulin and less able to absorb the glucose they need for energy. This energy deprivation can result in brain fog, fatigue, and impaired cognitive function, particularly affecting your memory and ability to focus. Beyond the sugar spikes, Refined grains contribute to systemic inflammation. A diet high in these types of carbohydrates can promote chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your body, including your brain. This inflammation can damage brain cells and contribute to oxidative stress, which is an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your body. Oxidative stress basically means your brain cells are under attack, and this can accelerate brain aging and increase the risk of neurodegenerative conditions. It's like exposing your brain to a constant, low-level irritant that slowly wears it down. Think about how many common meals feature refined grains: a sandwich on white bread, a big bowl of white pasta, or a breakfast bagel. These are often seen as comfort foods, but their nutritional emptiness and rapid sugar conversion mean they're not comforting your brain at all. They lack the fiber that helps regulate blood sugar, and they're missing essential nutrients that support brain health, such as B vitamins, which are crucial for energy production in brain cells, and magnesium, which plays a role in nerve transmission. So, what's the smart swap? The answer lies in embracing whole grains. Think whole wheat bread, brown rice, quinoa, oats, barley, and whole grain pasta. These grains retain their bran and germ, meaning they're packed with fiber, which slows down glucose absorption and helps keep your blood sugar levels stable. They also provide a steady release of energy to your brain, preventing those exhausting peaks and crashes. Plus, whole grains are rich in B vitamins, magnesium, and other antioxidants that protect your brain cells from damage and support optimal function. Making this switch is incredibly easy. Simply choose the brown version over the white, opt for oatmeal instead of sugary cereal, whole wheat bread instead of white, and brown rice instead of white rice. These small, deliberate choices can make a profound difference in protecting your brain's long-term vitality. Your brain will thank you for the steady supply of fuel and protection. Now, let's delve into our fourth brain-damaging food category: trans fats, or hydrogenated oils. These are the truly insidious fats, often lurking in processed foods, baked goods, and fried items. While naturally occurring trans fats exist in small amounts in some animal products, the real villains are artificial trans fats, created through a process called hydrogenation, which turns liquid vegetable oils into solid fats. They were once lauded for extending shelf life and improving texture, but we now know they are incredibly detrimental to your health, especially your brain. Why are trans fats so bad for your brain? For starters, they promote widespread inflammation. Unlike healthy fats, trans fats trigger an inflammatory response throughout your body, including in your brain's delicate tissues. Chronic brain inflammation is a significant driver of cognitive decline and can damage neurons, interfere with brain cell communication, and contribute to the development of neurodegenerative diseases. It's like having a constant low-grade fever in your brain, hindering its ability to perform at its best. Beyond inflammation, trans fats have a direct negative impact on your cardiovascular system. They raise your bad LDL cholesterol levels and lower your good HDL cholesterol levels, which is a terrible combination for heart health. And what's good for your heart is good for your brain. Your brain relies on a steady supply of oxygen-rich blood, delivered through a healthy network of blood vessels. When these vessels are damaged by cholesterol buildup and inflammation, blood flow to the brain is compromised. This can lead to impaired cognitive function, memory problems, and even increase the risk of strokes, which can cause significant and sudden brain damage. Consider common sources of these hidden dangers: many commercially baked goods like pastries, cakes, cookies, and donuts, especially older varieties or those from smaller bakeries that haven't updated their recipes. Fried foods from fast food restaurants, microwave popcorn, certain non-dairy creamers, and even some pre-made doughs can contain trans fats. Food labels often list them as partially hydrogenated oil. If you see that on an ingredient list, put it back on the shelf, even if a product claims 0 grams trans fat. Regulations allow them to state that if it has less than 0.5 grams per serving. That might not sound like much, but if you eat multiple servings, or many such products throughout the day, it adds up quickly. So, How do you protect your brain from these harmful fats? The best approach is to drastically reduce your intake of processed foods and fried items. Instead of relying on commercially baked goods, try baking your own with healthier fats like olive oil, avocado oil, or even butter in moderation. When cooking at home, choose healthy fats for sautéing and roasting. Look for products that specifically state no trans fats or, even better, check the ingredient list to ensure partially hydrogenated oil isn't present. Embrace healthy fats that nourish your brain, such as those found in avocados, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. These healthy fats are crucial for building and maintaining brain cells and supporting overall cognitive function. Making conscious choices to avoid trans fats is a powerful step towards safeguarding your brain's future, ensuring it remains sharp and resilient. Now, let's turn our attention to our fifth food that can quietly chip away at your brain health, especially as you age processed meats. We're talking about items like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, and cured meats. While they might be convenient or a staple at breakfast, these foods come with a cocktail of ingredients that can be detrimental to your cognitive function. One of the biggest concerns with processed meats is their high content of saturated fats and sodium. Diets rich in saturated fats have been linked to increased inflammation throughout the body, including the brain. Chronic inflammation can damage brain cells and blood vessels, impairing cognitive function and increasing the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. It's a continuous, low-level assault on your brain's delicate structures. The high sodium content, on the other hand, contributes to elevated blood pressure. As we discussed earlier, high blood pressure can damage the tiny blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to your brain, leading to reduced blood flow, which in turn can cause memory problems, slower thinking, and increase your risk of stroke. Your brain needs a consistent, robust blood supply to function optimally, and processed meats can undermine this crucial system. Beyond fats and sodium, processed meats often contain nitrates and nitrites, which are used as preservatives and for color. While these compounds are generally considered safe in small amounts, they can convert into N-nitroso compounds in your body, some of which are known carcinogens and have also been linked to negative effects on brain health. Some research suggests that these compounds might contribute to oxidative stress and inflammation, further damaging brain cells and pathways over time. Imagine your brain trying to perform complex tasks while constantly battling these subtle toxic invaders. It's an uphill battle. Think about the ease of adding a slice of deli meat to a sandwich or frying up some bacon for breakfast. These habits, while seemingly harmless individually, can accumulate over the years, contributing to a diet that quietly erodes your brain's resilience. It's not about enjoying these foods once in a blue moon, but rather about their regular presence in your diet, especially as you get older and your brain becomes more vulnerable to inflammatory and oxidative damage. So, what are the better choices to protect your brain while still enjoying flavorful meals instead of processed meats? Opt for lean, unprocessed protein sources. Think about baked chicken or turkey breast, grilled fish, or plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, and tofu, if you enjoy sandwiches. Try loading them with fresh vegetables and a slice of avocado for healthy fats instead of deli meat. For breakfast, scramble some eggs with fresh spinach and mushrooms, or enjoy a bowl of oatmeal with berries and nuts. If you truly crave that savory flavor, explore healthier seasonings and spices to add depth to your cooking by reducing your reliance on processed meats and embracing whole, natural protein sources. You're actively nourishing your brain, reducing inflammation, and promoting healthy blood flow, all of which are essential for maintaining sharp cognitive function and memory well into your later years. And now, for the sixth food on our list, and this might be the one that surprises you the most, especially since it's often lauded for its health benefits. Certain types of fish, specifically those high in mercury, wild fish, particularly fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, are renowned for their omega-3 fatty acids, which are fantastic for brain health. Some varieties accumulate high levels of mercury, a neurotoxin that can be particularly damaging to an aging brain. Mercury is a heavy metal that can interfere with brain function by damaging nerve cells and disrupting neurotransmitter systems. For older adults, who may have a more vulnerable blood-brain barrier or reduced detoxification capacity, the impact of mercury exposure can be even more pronounced. Chronic exposure, even to low levels, has been linked to subtle neurological impairments, including memory problems, difficulties with concentration, and issues with motor skills. It's like a silent pollutant gradually dimming your brain's natural brilliance. So, which fish are the culprits? The general rule of thumb is that larger, longer-lived predatory fish tend to accumulate the most mercury because they eat smaller fish that also contain mercury, leading to a buildup in their own tissues. The primary offenders to be mindful of are king mackerel, swordfish, tilefish from the Gulf of Mexico, and big-eye tuna. While occasional consumption might not be immediately alarming, regular intake of these high-mercury fish can lead to a gradual accumulation of the toxin in your body, impacting your brain over time. This isn't to say you should avoid fish altogether. Far from it. Fish, especially cold water fatty fish, remains one of the best brain foods due to its rich omega-3 content. The key is to choose wisely. So, what are the brain-friendly fish options? Opt for varieties that are lower in mercury and higher in beneficial omega-3s. Excellent choices include salmon, especially wild-caught sockeye, or Alaskan salmon, sardines, anchovies, trout, and Atlantic mackerel, not to be confused with king mackerel. These fish provide all the brain-boosting benefits without the risk of significant mercury exposure. Making these distinctions is crucial for preserving your cognitive health. Instead of a swordfish steak, try a delicious baked salmon fillet. Swap your tuna steak for canned sardines on whole grain toast. These are simple, yet impactful changes that ensure you're getting the vital nutrients your brain needs without introducing harmful heavy metals. It's about being informed and making smart choices that align with your long-term brain health goals. As we bring our conversation to a close, remember the 6 foods we've discussed today: highly processed items, sugary drinks, refined grains, trans fats, processed meats, and certain high-mercury fish. These aren't just empty calories. They are items that can quietly, subtly, and persistently challenge your brain's ability to stay sharp, clear, and vibrant as you age. They contribute to inflammation, disrupt blood sugar, damage blood vessels, and introduce toxins, all of which can accelerate cognitive decline. But here's the encouraging truth: you hold immense power over your brain health through your daily food choices. You don't need radical diets or complicated regimens. Small, consistent changes truly make the biggest difference. Think about it: swapping out that sugary soda for water infused with fresh fruit, choosing whole grain bread instead of white, reaching for a handful of berries instead of a packaged cookie, or opting for a beautiful piece of baked salmon instead of bacon. These are not sacrifices. They are investments in your most precious asset, your mind. Your brain is an incredible organ, capable of learning, adapting, and creating well into your senior years. It thrives on wholesome, nutrient-dense foods, and it flourishes when given the right fuel. Embrace the delicious variety of fresh fruits, colorful vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains. Experiment with new recipes, rediscover the joy of cooking, and savor every bite of food that genuinely nourishes your body and your brilliant brain. We'd love to hear from you. Have you made any of these swaps in your own diet? What changes have you noticed in your energy or clarity? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights could inspire someone else on their journey to better brain health. If you found this video helpful and want more practical advice to live your best life at every age, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more content that empowers you to thrive. Remember, every mindful bite is a step towards a sharper mind and a more vibrant life. Live your best life at every age.